Hello, everyone, and welcome. This is Karen from Belladonna Grace. I hope you're doing well. Um, just take a minute to subscribe if you haven't, and you can hit the notification bell. If you will get notified when I send a video up. Today we're going to look at the Venus retrograde. That's a very interesting time, and it happens every 18 months, I believe. And this year it's going to be going from May 13th until June 25th. The Venus retrograde is a time to reevaluate our relationships, to take actually a deeper look at our relationships, and and also a time for exes to come back if they're not with us. Also, it's a time during this year, 2020. It's crossing through a Gemini, so that's the planet of communication and ideas. So it's going to, so the combination of Venus retrograde with the Gemini is perhaps a lack of communication in relationships, perhaps. It's also squaring Neptune. So that means with Neptune, that's the planet of dreams and illusions. And when it's something is squared, when a planet's squared to it, that means there may be challenges there. Okay, so here's our cards. We're just going to take a look and to see what the Venus in Venus retrograde has in store for us. Okay. Okay, so it looks like the negative aspects of the Venus retrograde may already be occurring, may have already started. There is a shadow period that starts about, I think, 2 weeks beforehand, before May 13th. So if that's the case, then you may already be experiencing this. There may have been some backstabbing. There may have been some deception, some negative words said about you, um, or you felt that way about, you may not have heard the words, but you may have felt like betrayed by somebody. There may have been even it could be that you just a breakup in the relationships that you have, or or one relationship where you just like things are just falling apart. So you're there's a lot of upheaval. Your relationship hasn't changed. You may be feeling rejected, out in the cold, alone, um, not feeling particularly loved or happy, especially because of this turmoil in this relationship. And like I say, it looks like it's already started. Um, this can be changed if you put some effort into it. If if this is what you want, take a look. You've probably invested a lot of time into your relationships, and sorry about that. So you probably have invested time in your relationships. Take a look at that, and do you want to still invest more time into this? Is it worth investing any more into it? Take a look at your losses. Remember when you're doing that, remember your past with them. You probably had a very nice past. You probably have a lot of very pleasant memories about them. You may have a lot of good times with them. This looks like it may be a long-term relationship. It's not like a casual relationship that you're having issues with. And like I say, it is the Venus retrograde, and it's with Gemini, which is the planet of communication. So this is where the conflicts are. And then we have uh, Venus squaring Neptune, which means illusions and dreams and delusions and stuff like that. Uh, being deceived. Um, so take while you're doing this. So during this upheaval, you know, or if a relationship does end up breaking up, or if it's already in the middle of it. Like I say, take stock at how much you've invested in it. Is it worth it? Is your relationship worth it to lose it? Or did you invest enough that you should try to fix it? And to do that, you know, like take a look back at the relationship you've had. You know, really, was it as good as you thought it was? Now, keep in mind of the Neptune squaring Venus is that your vision of the relationship may be skewed a little. So it's not a time to actually start a new relationship during this time. At this for this particular reading, I see that it's not a good time to be starting anything new. It's a good time to look at what you have and you know, and is it, you know, is it good for you? Is it good for your health, mental health and emotional health? You know, take a look at that. You need to protect yourself and take care of yourself. And that's what this is about. To protect yourself, you have to start looking at what you've invested and what your relationship overall is about. It does say, though, it looks like was a good relationship or is a good relationship. Okay, so here we have the Ace of Swords. And that's about like mental force, truth, justice, especially from here, you know, like you're looking for what you're going to set a path for. Okay, this is what I want. I want to see the truth. I want to know what's going on. I want to know if these relationships are worth it or why this relationship broke up and stuff like that. Uh, there's you may have seen it may pull in your negative aspect. So be careful not to go into a deep end of negative aspect or thinking about yourself in a negative way, or you know, too much pain or sadness and stuff like that. Take a step up and just look back at this relationship and see if it's worth it to keep it or not. Okay, so let's put another one there. Let's put it at the bottom. Yeah. This is self-care, kindness, emotions, love, love of the self, love of others, um, motherly, um, being kind, being gentle. Not necessarily if you're having a bad relationship with somebody, but to yourself. And I'm going to, actually, I want to go to these cards, sorry. I'll see if I get any insight into what the communication problem might have been, or if it was just about communication, or what this problem is. If it's, hopefully it's not coming, I think you're in the middle of it. It looks like it's already been started. No. Yeah, you definitely want to take a break, and it's a good thing that things are quieted down. Or, I mean, there was this upheaval, and you're taking some space. Yeah, you'll make progress. Yeah. So if you are in a relationship still, and this is happening, this is you have to really take stock and then really look at this stuff. You really have to look what you've invested in it if you're still in the relationship. This sort of looks like for some people, this probably happened like within the last 2 weeks. It looks like there was some sort of breakup in the relationship. This looks like, or if you're in a relationship, this is for other people, this is what you're experiencing right now. And even though you're in a relationship, you're not feeling it. You really have to see what you've invested. Look at your past relationship. How did you get together? What made you fall in love with this person if it's a romantic relationship, or what made you decide to be friends with this person? Really think about that. And while you're thinking about that, you're thinking about yourself and not pleasing them. You're thinking about pleasing yourself and taking care of yourself. You have to put yourself first right now for this. When you're looking back, look at it from how is it benefiting you? Don't worry about how much of a benefit you are to them at the moment. Okay, let's put one more. Longing. Yeah. Yeah, you definitely want to have a good relationship, and something's been lacking. It looks like something's been lacking in the relationship. Okay, so let's see what here. Work, career, abundance. Wow. So this actually could be, for some people, this is actually a workmate. For other people, it's not. It's this is, take a look at, instead of like dwelling on this relationship, if to take a break from it, um, look at what you're, take, dig a little deeper into your career, take a look at that, your money situation, your financial situation, which is looking good. Abundance also is good for like, you have a lot going for you. And I know this is the queen, but this could be a man or a woman. So it just turned out to be the card to represent the person, you. Moving on. Yeah. Yeah, you're going to move on from some pain. This is a good time to clear that stuff out, to clear out any bad relationships in your life. This is a perfect opportunity. You're going to be able to see it. I don't think you're going to be able to avoid it. The looking at the relationships and the negative aspects of it, and then the reevaluating of it right here. Let's put one more. I just want to put another tarot, sorry, on the negative, up there on the top. Yeah. This is a lack of appreciation, because sometimes things are too good, or we don't realize, or we take advantage of in our relationships. That's what this is signifying. That may be an aspect. You may feel that you weren't appreciated, that your value may have been like cheapened somehow, that you didn't feel that you were being respected. That could have been what started the conflict. Okay, and then we'll just do one more here for the queen here. Let's put this up here. And that's for you and what to do now. Yeah, Page of Swords. Yeah, the Page of Swords defends themselves. You you really must take care of yourself. You seem to be a good person. Well, we all are. But it really is saying like there's kindness and love. You're a soft, gentle person, emotional person. Um, and so you do have to be strong when you try to defend yourself. This is Three of Swords. This is not coming, but this is something that you have to keep in mind. Like, you want to protect yourself from heartbreak, and it doesn't mean to not go into a relationship, but it really just means it's an overall message, a very strong message of putting yourself first here. This card and this card, they're protecting themselves. They're guarding what they have. So you really have to watch yourself, because you don't want to lose that that kindness you have. You don't want to get jaded. You want to stay. You want to be able to stay who you are. You want to be able to be kind and yet have relationships. So don't let these negative things and lack of appreciation, they'll come around. If they don't come around, then you protect yourself. It's not saying whether anybody's going to come around or not, because it's a general reading. The outcome is going to be different for everybody. But what's we're going to have the same is most likely many of the viewers or whoever's watching, you you've probably in the middle of it, or you've just had a relationship breakup, and then maybe because you didn't feel appreciated, you didn't feel valued. Um, you have a chance now to take a look back, um, to remember the memories. Remember, look at what you've invested. Is it worth it? You know, all this investment that you made, is it really worth it to keep it or not? Um, you want justice and to speak your truth. Um, don't, of course, now this is protecting yourself, but this may be a little bit of like being aggressive, not a, but more overt in, you know, like, so I would be careful of, of you know, doing the same thing back to the other person, or being in a negative way back to the other person. And yeah, there really seems to be a strong energy here of speaking your truth and letting people know who you are, and at the same time maintaining who you are. If you're one of those people, those chameleon people, I can be that way, and sometimes depends who you're with. You kind of change in order to suit the crowd you're with. Um, that part of you may be leaving because and what's going to be left behind is a kind, giving, warm person who doesn't get taken advantage of, and who is valued. That's probably may unblock things, and this is probably why the work and the abundance and stuff like that. I think this block in the relationships may then benefit once you resolve it. It doesn't, sometimes it doesn't seem like it's going to be related, but that's going to benefit you as far as probably financial abundance or emotional abundance. um, you know, your mission in life and stuff like that. It's probably going to open a path for you to move forward once you deal with this. And this is not saying to dump the person or to keep the person. That's your decision. You just need to do the inner work and the self-reflection, and to stay strong to who you are and maintain your, you know, don't harden your heart. All right. Thank you. Um, we'll see you next time. Bye.